We are live from Wrigley Field in Chicago for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. It has been a fun week of baseball here at the ballpark. The Cubs have taken 4 of 5 to start this 8-game stay, and they'll try to sweep the Pirates. It's the final game of this weekend series. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. The Cubs a much better April this year than last year. They did not play well at home to start 2007. They are playing well this season.
Yeah, last year they started the season 4-9 at Wrigley Field in the first month of the season. This year it's been a completely different story. The overall record 7-4. This homestand has been fantastic. The pitching's been good, the batting has been off the charts good, and the ball club has shown a remarkable amount of patience at the plate.
As good as the offense has been really the last 2 days, the big story has to be the 4 and 5 starters now pitching in, Rich Hill and Jason Marquis. Ryan Dempster's just going to try to do what he's been doing.
Well, especially what he did in Pittsburgh last week on that road trip. He went 7 innings of one-hit shutout baseball, got a no decision. The Cubs came back to win late in that game. You see what he's done as the start against the Pirates. He's been outstanding in all 3 of his starts this year.
The Cubs will face another left-hander today. They would love to do to Zach Duke what they did to Tom Gorzolani on Saturday.
Well, similar styles of pitchers. Zach Duke has had some success against the Cubs in the past, but this is a different Cubs ball club this year.
We're getting set for the first pitch. Now down to the field. Wayne and Kathleen Messmer on a Sunday, as always, will sing God Bless America and then our national anthem.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
An outstanding job, as always, by the Messmers. And we're set for Cubs baseball on WGN. The Pirates and the Cubs right around the corner.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. The Chicagoland area Dodge dealers and the all-new 2009 Dodge Journey. AT&T. See what's new from the new AT&T. Visit att.com for details. The Illinois Lottery. Play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Pepsi. Every sip gets you closer. And by Southwest Airlines. You're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today.
hat plush toy from Universal Orlando to the first 5,000 children 13 and under, courtesy of Bank of America. Great weekend for the kids. And today's Cubs broadcast on WGN Sports is brought to you in beautiful high definition, sponsored by Comcast. It's a great day. It's a lot warmer in the sun than it is in the shade. A very cool breeze, but an extremely comfortable day for Cubs baseball. It's been a rough go for the Pirates lately. After a 4-game winning streak, they have followed that up with a 4-game skid. Nate McLouth has been really the one hot guy in this lineup, along with Xavier Nady. You see the low batting average for guys like Sanchez, LaRoche, Bautista, Bixler. They're all under certainly the average they want to be at. Bixler at 190. Zach Duke, the pitcher, will hit 9th.
And here's how the Cubs take the field defensively today. Behind starter Ryan Dempster, brought to you by Pepsi. Every sip gets you closer. Matt Merton getting a start in left field with the left-hander going for the Pirates. Reed Johnson in center. Mark DeRosa over in right field today. Ramos Ramirez at third. Ryan Terrio at short. Ronnie Cedeno at second base. D. Lee, major league leader in home runs, over at first base. He is some kind of hot. Giovanni Soto once again doing the catching today for right-hander Ryan Dempster. Perfect 2-0 record, ERA of 2.37. This will be his 4th start of the season. He did start against the Buccos last week back in Pittsburgh. I mentioned before, 7 innings of 1 hit. Shutout baseball, was outstanding in that game.
We alluded to Kosuke Fukudome in the leadoff man. He has a small cyst above his right eye. It is not serious. He has some swelling in his right eyelid, so his vision not 100%, so he gets the day off today. But it sounds like it might just be a one-day thing, and we'll probably see him back in the lineup tomorrow night against the Mets. James Hoy will call the balls and strikes. Like Bob, he's from the state of Ohio. Fouled back by McLouth. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Pirates' leadoff hitter with a 17-game hitting streak to start the year. The game time temperature 48 degrees. That's obviously in the shade. And the wind out of the north at 6.
Well, you made a good call earlier, Len. If you're in the sun today, this is t-shirt, tank top weather. But if you're in the shade, you better have a parka and some gloves and a scarf.
Dempster's 1-2 is a little bit outside on a sinking fastball. 2-2 on McLouth. So Kosuke on the bench. I would doubt he would be used as a pinch hitter. McLouth runs his hit streak up to 18. He's hit in every game.
Merton recently recalled from AAA Iowa. Doing what he usually does, getting on base, had drawn some walks, did not have an extra base hit, but was swinging the bat well enough to be called up here and get a nod today in left field. I was just looking at the box score the last time Dempster pitched against the Pirates. He hooked up against Zach Duke in that ball game as well. The only base hit he gave up was to Jason Bay in the first inning of that ball game, and then 6 innings of no-hit shutout baseball.
Well, look out, Jason Bay. Did that ball hit him?
Well, I don't know. It went whistling by Jason Bay in the on-deck circle. Unfortunately, it looks like everybody's okay on that first base side. Once again, a warning: if you come out to the ballpark, keep your eye on the ball and the bat.
Kick and the 0-1 pitch. Another ball hit foul. That one went over the Pirates dugout. Nate McLouth's 18-game hitting streak, the longest to start a season for a Pirate player since Al Oliver hit in 18 straight back in 1972.
Scoop, they used to call it facetiously, because he wasn't known for his glove.
Jason Bay may want to take his practice swings in the tunnel.
Go on the third base side with that inside out swing that Freddie Sanchez is featuring. figured to be a few more foul balls to that right side.
The next one by Dempster, blocked by Giovanni Soto. Dempster's limiting the other team as far as hits, even though he gave up the leadoff single to McLeod. Lefties are struggling against him. Opponents haven't hit for much power. He's doing everything you're supposed to do as a starting pitcher.
And most importantly, throwing strikes. I mean, I think that for me was the biggest concern with Ryan Dempster moving into the rotation this year. We saw some outings out of the bullpen last year where it wasn't unusual for him to come in and throw 35 pitches to get 3 outs in the ninth. And certainly as a starter, you cannot afford a high pitch inning like that, especially early in the ball game. But he has managed to keep his pitch count very much under control. Threw 102 last time out against the Reds in 6 innings. That was his highest total, rather 106, excuse me.
This is the classic matchup of two teams going in very opposite directions. Another base hit for the Pirates as Sanchez finds ground out in right center. 2 on with nobody out for Jason Bay. A couple of guys now from British Columbia, Canada will match up, Dempster and Bay.
But throughout the entire at bat, Sanchez was looking for something he could shoot out there into right field. That's his natural stroke. That inside out swing, gets his weight out on the front foot, leads with his hands. Barrel of the bat kind of drags behind, and the result is a soft line drive into right field.
Bay was born in Trail, British Columbia. Ryan Dempster from Gibsons. Here's the pitch in the dirt, ball 1. During this 4-game losing streak, the Pirates have been outscored 35-6 and out hit 49-24. The Cubs, meanwhile, are scoring 7.5 runs per game during this 6-game stretch in which they've taken 5. As a team, they've hit 321, taking a lot of walks. The pitching staff with a 3.76 earned run average. Inside corner, 1-2.
And looking at the Pirates, when the focal point of your offense is your leadoff hitter, it says something about your ability to score runs. And with Jason Bay and Adam LaRoche, Xavier Nady's been swinging it all right, but those guys in the middle of the Pirates lineup haven't been doing the kind of damage that they're going to need to do if the Pirates are going to be competitive at all this year.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, right after McLeod, you have the number 2 hitter, Sanchez, who came in at 222. Cleanup hitter at 143. Your number 7 hitter, Batista, and $177. There hasn't been any sort of flow in this lineup. But they are threatening early as Bay pops it up over toward the right field line. Mark DeRosa trips. Oh, I hope he's okay. He went barreling in near the brick side wall. Thankfully, he's okay. He did not make the catch, but he tripped over that bullpen mound. Mark has played both corner spots. Soriano on the DL, so he's played a lot of left, and this one is very scary.
Well, I think what compounded it is DeRosa got a little bit of a slow start. He didn't realize how hard that wind was going to push the ball toward the foul line. Tries to make up ground at the end of the play, and right there caught the mound with his right foot, then his left foot. Man, that could have been terrible. Pirates bullpen springing up to make sure he's okay down in the corner. Good to see him get up with a smile on his face.
He almost ended up with a mouthful of bricks.
And you just don't have the luxury of taking your eye off of that ball even for 1 second to see how close you're getting to those mounds. You just have to trust your field awareness. You know you're getting close and try to focus on that baseball.
The 1-2 pitch on the ground. Let's see what they do. They go 5 for a double play. Ramirez had some options. He could have gone 5-4-3, but instead he was near third base, stepped on the bag, and they get 2.
Just what Ryan Dempster needed. When necessary, he can go to that sinker and get the ground ball. And you're right about Ramirez having options right there, but take the sure thing. An easy force out at third base. He had plenty of time to throw across the diamond to complete the double play.
Cedeno backs up into the right field grass against the lefty LaRoche. Fastball strike. Sanchez is at second base, but now there are 2 outs. Too low, 1-1.
The very first time these 2 guys hooked up, Adam LaRoche took Dempster deep, and that's the last hit he has against Cubs right-hander. 0 for his next 5.
Ontario shading LaRoche up the middle. Derek Lee is over. Ryan Dempster gets to first base. That goes 3-1. Dempster gets out of it. Mark DeRosa looks to be okay. Cubs are coming up. We saw yesterday, except for Fukudome being out, Ronnie Cedeno getting another start in that 8th spot. Ryan Dempster coming in 1 for 5 on the year.
This is the everyday Pirates lineup. Jason Bay in left, Nate McLouth in center, Xavier Nady over in right field, Batista and Bixler on the left side, Sanchez and LaRoche on the right side. Brian Domet doing the catching today for left-hander Zach Duke. Of course, when Jack Wilson gets healthy, he will be the starting shortstop, but Brian Bixler and Luis Rivas filling in until Wilson is healthy and back on the major league roster.
John Russell's hoping Zach Duke's past success against the Cubs carries over. After a rough outing from Tom Gorzolani yesterday, Duke 4-2 with a 2.01 against the Cubs in 9 previous starts. His first pitch is a knee-high strike on Reed Johnson. Reed's not just playing against lefties. He's grabbed that center field spot. Felix P.A. He struggled a little bit early on. That ball's crushed. McLeod's going to have to chase it down. Johnson may be thinking 3. Nope, he's going to hold with 2. Johnson hitting .385 in his career against the Pirates, and that average will go up as the Cubs have now hit a double in every game of the year.
And they once again take advantage of the shallow positioning of Nate McLouth out there in center field. Obviously, McLouth very comfortable in his abilities to go back on the ball, but the Cubs have tested him in every game in this series. Starts from that shallow position, a couple steps into right center, and that ball just accelerates over his head all the way to the vines. Good start.
Ryan Theriot likes to take it the other way. He showed bunt and pulled the bat back for ball one. See the third baseman Batista's in along with LaRoche, guarding against a bunt attempt. Looking forward to attending a luncheon here at Wrigley Field with Ryan tomorrow, as the Cubs and the McCormick Tribune Foundation will present more than $1 million in Cubs Care grants to charitable organizations and institutions in the Chicagoland area. Good to have Ryan be a part of this great event coming up tomorrow.
A smile on Lou's face there. I like to see that. Ryan Theriot ran the count to 2-0, attempting to put down a sac bunt, but then on the 2-0 count, Lou turned him loose. That's when you figure to get a good fastball somewhere up over the heart of the plate. Theriot just fouled it away for strike one.
Kick and the 2-1 pitch. Base hit up the middle. Reed Johnson headed toward the plate. The throw by McLouth is late, and that allows Theriot to get to second. The Pirates let the throw go all the way through, and Theriot gets an extra base out of it. He now has a 7-game hitting streak, and the Cubs strike first again.
Boy, Len, I've said it so many times. If you go to the plate with a game plan in mind and try to do the right thing, in this situation, the right thing is to hit the ball to the right side of the field. That's what Theriot is able to do, and fortunately finds that hole up the middle of the field to drive home the first run of the game. Boy, and heads up base running by the Riot. He saw that LaRoche was going into the middle of the infield to be the cutoff man. There was nobody at first base because Freddie Sanchez chased the ground ball up the middle. So took a huge turn at first and was able to move right on into second base.
Ryan Doman thought the ball was behind him. It was right at his feet.
That's the one place as a catcher it's tough to see.
Lou's relaxed for the most part. As relaxed as he can be during a ball game with his team scoring a lot of runs, a season high 13 in game 2.
The Cubs are on the good part of the leaderboard in the National League. Second in runs, second in RBI, second in hits, second in total bases, third in stolen bases and on base percentage, fifth in walks.
Bouncer to third base. Batista looks Theriot back to second and throws on to first. Derek Lee retired. Derek's had a stiff neck. He left in the 6th inning yesterday, but probably would have been able to stay in had the game been tight. No sense of taking any chances. So is it warmer there than it is in the rest of the stands that are shaded? You know what? It's actually warming up a bit up here.
Reminds me of that scene in The Natural when Glenn Close was sitting in the stands and the sun was only shining on her. I didn't see Glenn in that picture anywhere, but she could be here at the ballpark somewhere today.
Big spotlight.
And the microclimate right there is about 10 degrees warmer than 2 rows behind him.
That's a blanket weather upstairs.
Yeah, there's snow on the ground up here.
A 1-strike pitch. Ramirez hits that one the other way to foul.
Well, Zach Duke may show a fastball inside to a right-handed hitter from time to time, but he's going to try to get him out away. He's Fastball has a little tail, occasionally a little bit of sink to it. Tries to throw it on that outside corner at the knees and get some easy ground balls. Usually when he comes inside with the fastball, it's more for show.
Celebrated his 25th birthday yesterday. Still without a decision through 3 starts. Finds himself trailing 1-0. Right off the bat, gave up his first inning run. And the Terrio RBI hit. It'll be Batista. He drops it, but that ball was hit hard, and that gave him time. Seemed to sting the left-handed Batista. He's shaking his left hand. Here's Matt Burton. The last position player cut at the end of spring training. There were rumors that he might get traded. The Cubs have looked into that, but he has remained the Cub and now gets an opportunity. With his first major league start of 2008, Eric Patterson was optioned yesterday, and right back to the pitcher, Duke. And the inning is over. He gets 3 ground ball outs, but not before the Cubs get one. Johnson doubled, and then Terrio knocked him in with a single. It's 1-0 after 1. But the Cubs the only team to score in the opening inning. Catalyst once again, Reed Johnson, followed by Ryan Terrio as Xavier Nady looks at a strike. Ground ball to second base. It's Ronnie Cedeno getting his second straight start there.
Let's meet today's Walgreens celebrity bat kids. 8-year-old Max Hayes and Jonathan Schoenheider, 10 years old, both from Lake Forest, Illinois. Having a great day here at Wrigley, thanks to Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Go to WGNradio.com for more information on how your kid can become a Walgreens celebrity bat kid for a future game. Oh, they've done their homework.
Welcome, Chicago. Ryan Doman, a switch hitter. He struck out 3 times yesterday and was hit by a pitch. How about that day? 3 punch outs and then you get plunked. It's supposed to be 3 home runs, then you get plunked.
After 3 strikeouts, you're just glad to get on base. Doesn't matter how you get there.
Well, we saw just glimpses of sunshine for game 2, but when we finished, it was very foggy, hazy. You could barely see the buildings across both Waveland and Sheffield. A very clear Sunday afternoon today.
By the time I got home, I couldn't even see the apartment building across the street. Pea soup.
Didn't hurt the Cubs bats. They scored 13 runs on 12 hits and 10 walks. A full count on Domet with Bautista waiting on deck. Bounding ball snagged by Dempster. He went up top to get it. Nicely done by Ryan Dempster.
From our Southwest RoboCam, Ryan Dempster has to learn how to field his position. As a closer, you come in there and you don't really worry too much about fielding comebackers, but because he throws that heavy sinking fastball away from those left-handed hitters, he figures to get a lot of action back through the middle of the field this year. Giovanni Soto doing a little manicure in there in front of home plate. You don't want any big clumps of dirt or any big divots out there in front of the dish where you may have to block a ball in the dirt later in the game. In pretty good fielding position after he releases the ball, able to go up the ladder and make the play on that high hopper.
He has a sign from Soto, and the 1-1 pitch is a slider that's low and outside. The Cubs are a half game out in the Central, along with Milwaukee. Both teams 11-6. The Cardinals lead the way at 12-6. Caught the corner, 2-2. Giovanni Gallardo off the DL, making his season debut for the Brewers in Cincinnati. They're 1-1 in the top of the 6th. Swing and a miss by Bautista, picked up by Soto, and that completes the out. First strikeout for Ryan Dempster after those first 2 hits. He's retired them all, 1-0. Day. You have to go all the way down to 5th to find the Cubs and the Cardinals. In fact, both teams were at 6 and 9. That has reversed here in 2008. The Cubs are 10-4 against the Central, including 5-0 versus the Pirates. These two clubs will meet 12 times by the time the month of May is over. Through the hole on the left side for Mark DeRosa. Ready for some fun with numbers?
Yeah, bring it on.
All right, I looked up what Mark has done during this 5-1 stretch. Before that hit, he was getting on base at a .560 clip, slugging .889.
Wow.
Along with playing 3 different defensive positions, so that has not upset his offense.
I'd be smiling too if I had numbers like that.
I'd be smiling if I didn't crack some teeth on that trip out in right. That was scary. That may have just caught a piece of Zach Duke. I thought I heard something. He didn't really react afterward. He is very fortunate as Giovanni Soto with that boomerang shot base hit.
Send it right back where it came from. Head high line drive right back through the mound off the bat of Giovanni Soto. Look out.
No, didn't hit anything.
The RoboCam, you see how close that ball came to getting a piece of Zach Duke out there on the mound. You know, the Cubs starting lineup today, 6 of the 8 position players were batting over 300 going into play today.
And Matt Merton was hitting 300 at AAA.
And besides Merton, the other regular who's not hitting 300 is Aramis Ramirez, and you really don't worry too much about his offense. You know, at the end of the year he's going to put up similar numbers that he has throughout his career, just off to a little bit of a slow start.
Battery will get together on the mound, and that gives us a chance to tell you that ticket sales are at a record pace, but plenty of tickets are still available for the 2008 season. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. First 2 on for the second inning. Strike on Ronnie, who went 2 for 4 with a walk, a 2-run single, and a run to earn another day in the lineup. He's also 8 for 18 against Zach Duke. Had a great 12-pitch at bat, during which a wild pitch was uncorked and a run scored, and then he walked. The throw's going to go to third base, and the relay is late. There was a little bit of a clutch or a bobble by Duke before he got rid of it, as he tried to turn the tough 1-5-3. 1 out in the inning. It's a fielder's choice for Cedeno.
Duke probably had a much better chance of turning 2 going up the middle of the field right there to the guys who are familiar with that double play pivot in the middle of the diamond. For Batista, he's running at an odd angle over to third base. Has to tag the bag and then clear himself with a runner to throw across, and with Ronnie Cedeno's speed, there's no chance of completing that double play.
Now it's Dempster, who has already laid down 3 sack bunts. We've seen him do a lot of extra work in the cage, working on his bunting. He was out here in between starts. They had a pitching machine. The machine couldn't have been 40 feet from home plate. I think Ivan DeJesus was feeding that machine, and it was going really fast.
Well, it's something that the pitchers need. I mean, it's one thing to go out in batting practice and bunt against a coach throwing 60 miles an hour, but when you get out there in game action, you're going to see 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. You're going to see breaking balls. Nicely done.
Number 4 for Dempster on the year.
Well, it's good to see results for Dempster. He's worked so hard, as you mentioned, on his bunting, wanted to get better, wanted to make that a weapon that he could use to keep himself in a ball game, maybe for another inning or 2, and that hard work paying off with a perfectly executed sacrifice bunt.
Cubs special assistant Ivan DeJesus. Much of his work is done behind the scenes. Second and third with 2 outs. Reed Johnson doubled and scored in the first. The one thing you noticed on that pitch, and it was very apparent the first time we saw him in a Cubs uniform, he won't give in on anything inside. A lot of guys would have vacated the box on anything within about 2 feet of hitting them. He just stands there.
No fear of the baseball whatsoever. Getting hit by a pitch is a big part of his offense. When he stands so close to home plate that any off-speed pitch that's breaking into him, like that Zach Duke curveball, the first pitch of this sequence, he's liable to take one for the team and just run on down to first base, set it up for Ryan Theriot.
He did back off that time, didn't move his feet. Backed up his midsection, 2-1. Theriot on deck. Soto's at third, Cedeno's at second. The pitch. He popped it up. Over on the right side. Sanchez to make the catch. The Cubs lead 2. They lead 1-0 after 2 complete. As we get into the third inning, 8-9-1 for Pittsburgh. It is an excellent percentage. Make it 7 of 8. First pitch strikes. Right on cue. Good rip by Bixler. 0-2. After him, it's the pitcher Duke and then Nate McLeod. Next one, a swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dempster. Rufan Batista to end the second.
Boy, Dempster not only throwing strikes but showing a nice feel after a hard slider on the second strike. He comes back with an even harder slider. Changing speeds on his breaking ball from our Southwest RoboCam. Bixler goes down on a slider off the plate away.
Well, did you know the Cubs played their very first game at Wrigley Field 92 years ago today?
I think I still have my ticket stub.
A tapper picked up by Soto. 2 outs. Cubs beat Cincinnati 7-6 on April 20th, 1960. Now on the Cubs game notes, it says at the friendly confines with Claude Hendricks earning the win. Don't know if it was dubbed the friendly confines when the Cubs made their debut here. The Federal League team had played here for a couple of years prior to that. So now you know. That Federal League franchise was known as the Federals and the Whales. The ballpark was called Weigman Park. It became Cubs Park in 1920 and then renamed Wrigley Field in 1926.
Those guys on the Whales, they were always spouting off.
Ooh. Very
Talking
nice.
trash before it was fashionable.
A fly ball, pretty well hit, but it's tracking toward foul ground, and that's where it'll land in the seats. Everything Nate McLeod hits carries.
He just has that amazing ability, at least in the early going this season, to get the barrel of the bat on the ball just about every swing. When he's in the strike zone, that's the ball that he drives for extra bases or an occasional home run. And when the pitch is out of the zone, he's still able to get the barrel of the bat on it and hit it hard.
The other day, I brought up the idea that would John Russell consider at some point moving him down in the order if the rest of his offense continues to struggle? And just kind of thinking about that idea, I guess the counter to that thought or suggestion would be Nate McLeod is a leadoff hitter, and if you make him a number 3 or a number 4, you don't want him to start to overthink it and to fundamentally change the kind of hitter he is. Why mess with success?
And looking at the players the Pirates have available, if you take McLeod out of the leadoff spot, who do you plug in there? They don't really have a logical candidate to jump into that leadoff spot that's had any amount of success.
Going into this year, 708 major league at bats, so just over a season's worth of at bats. He was a .249 hitter, .292 in the minor leagues. And right now he's at .392 with an on base of .451, and he's slugging .676. Two balls, 2 strikes on McLeod. The next pitch, another foul. Jim Thome has hit his 512th career home run. The White Sox are in Tampa Bay, so he has tied Ernie Banks and Eddie Matthews on the all-time list. To right, and it's Mark DeRosa to make the catch. So Jim Thome now in a tie for 19th on the all-time home run list, and the White Sox lead 6-0. Here it's 1-0 Cubs midway in the third. bottom three. Ryan Terrio hits the first pitch, fair down the left field line. And it'll be an easy double to start the inning with Derek Lee coming up. Leadoff man has been on each of the three Cubs at bats.
And we saw the Riot in his first at bat of this game hit behind the runner to advance him to third base. Ended up with a base hit, this time with nobody on. He does what a good hitter does, hit it where it's pitched. Bounces it just inside that third base line all the way down in the corner for a double.
Outside on Derek. He leads the major leagues with 7 home runs. The latest of which was a game winner yesterday in the first inning. Foul tip and a big ooh from this big crowd. The cats in the hats are getting some sun. Two and one.
Well, that's a dangerous pitch right there for Zach Duke. He tried to cut that fastball in on Derek Lee at 86 miles an hour, left it up and out over the plate. That's a mistake he doesn't want to make too many times against Derek Lee.
The next one, a swing and a miss to make it 2-2.
Yeah, this is a four-seam fastball at 91 miles an hour. That's a pitch that he'll try to elevate across the top of the strike zone and get swinging strikes and pop-ups. Saw the cutter at 86. That's a pitch he tries to run in on the right-handers, and then his tailing sinking fastball in the high 80s that he works away from the righties.
The 2-2. Base hit to left. Terrio will stop at third base. He had to make sure that one got past the shortstop Bixler, which it did.
Well, then we were talking about it the other day. When good hitters are in a good streak, they don't always hit the ball right on the button. Derek got jammed a little bit by this pitch, but he's strong enough to muscle it out into that hole between third and short. Keeps that bat in the zone a long time. And you're right, Ryan Terrio had no choice but to wait and make sure that ball got past Brian Bixler into left field before he could advance.
The first two are on again for the third inning. The Pirates want a double play. They'll give up a run if they can get 2 outs, or at least attempt to turn 2. Driven deep to left center. Is this ball going to be high enough? No, right off the warning track and then the wall. It'll knock in one. Derek Lee thought about going as the relay throw got away. It's 2-0. Ramirez kept it low, but just not enough juice to get it out. As it is, it's a double.
Looked like that line drive might have had a lot of topspin too. Didn't get the kind of carry we normally see from Aramis Ramirez when he drives that ball that direction. Looked like he squared it up pretty good, but the ball just got out there and died on the track. Short hops the wall. Cubs push across another run.
And it's Matt Merton. Ball 1. Couple of RBIs, but no extra base hits with Iowa. He was seeing the ball well. John Russell has to think about using his bullpen. The only two pitchers who did not work yesterday were Damaso Marte, a left-hander, and Francolis Osorio, who worked 2 innings on Friday. So he'd like to see Duke get through at least 5 innings after Tom Gorzolani could not escape the 3rd. The 2-1 pitch is outside. 3 balls and a strike. DeRosa's on deck. Merton has worked his way into a big-time hitter's count. This is a good matchup for Matt. He has 10 career hits against Zach Duke, the most he has against any pitcher in baseball. He's 10 out of 23, including the 0 for 1 today. Up the middle, slowed down a little bit by Duke as Bixler spins and throws and gets Merton. But Lee scores the 3rd run. And also on the play, Ramirez moved over to 3rd.
Easy RBI for Matt Merton, making a bid for a base hit back up the middle of the field. Bixler gets over there in good shape to make the play, but once again, you try to do the right thing, you get good results. Not only did he drive in a run, but he moves Aramis Ramirez to 3rd base with 1 out in the inning and sets up an opportunity for Mark DeRosa to cash in another one.
And the infield is in. The Pirates are not scoring a lot of runs. And John Russell doesn't want to give up any more. Already down 3-0. Ramirez holds at 3rd as Duke will throw to 1st. 2 outs.
'2008 Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
Perfect day to be out and about. And another huge audience here at Wrigley Field. It's been a fun week. The Cubs are looking to go 5-1. They took 2 of 3 from the Reds. They're trying to sweep the Pirates. The Mets will come in tomorrow night for a quick 2-game set. Let's see, the Mets are going for the sweep in Philadelphia. They had lost 9 in a row to the Phillies, dating back to last year, but they've played well this weekend. That'll be a night game tonight. Mike Pelfrey and Adam Eaton. Randy Johnson will make his first home start for Arizona against left-hander Randy Wolf a little later. Cardinals are trailing 6-0 at home. The Giants put up a 6 spot in the 3rd. John Bowker with his 3rd home run as Soto draws the walk. First and 3rd with a couple of runs in, and it's number 8 hitter Ronnie Cedeno. The big news around baseball, big story, is Frank Thomas has been released by the Blue Jays a day after complaining about being benched. How about that one?
Well, reduced playing time is better than no playing time at all, but you have the feeling Frank Thomas is going to land on his feet somewhere.
J.P. Ricciardi, the general manager, called it a mutual agreement. Thomas signed a 2-year contract worth $18 million in November of '06, so the Blue Jays will have to pay him the rest of the year. And the liner is dropped by the shortstop Bixler, but he recovers in time to get Soto at second base. That goes down as a 6-4 on a fielder's choice. Caught out of the mid of the shortstop, but the Cubs get 2 more. It's now 3-0. Freddie Sanchez batting for the Pirates in the 4th inning. First RBI of the year for Matt Merton on a ground out. Ramirez before him with the RBI double. Strange end to the inning.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ronnie Cedeno, he hit that ball so hard that Bixler had plenty of time to recover after knocking it down. Very close play at second base. It looked like they may have just gotten Soto on the forced play at second. Bixler with the presence of mind to stay with that ball, make the underhanded toss on to second base.
DeRosa on the move, makes the catch. Sanchez is out. Time now for our AT&T text poll question as we celebrate 60 years of Cubs baseball from Wrigley Field here on WGN Sports. Great question today. What's your favorite Wrigley Field tradition? You can text to 97999. A for day baseball. B for the singing and Take Me Out to the Ball Game by Harry Carey and the celebrities since Harry's passing 10 years ago. C for the hand-operated Wrigley Field scoreboard. You can text D for the ivy on the outfield walls. I'll give you the results a little bit later on. Again, text your answer to 97999. A bouncer to third. Ramirez to lead. 2 outs as Bay is out.
I don't know what my choice would be, but I'll wait until the fans vote. We don't want to influence them in any way, shape, or form.
That is a very tough question to answer. You can only pick one, right?
I think that's the rule.
Well, we know people. Can't we get around the rules and vote for 3 or 4 of them?
This
How
is
about all of the
Chicago.
above?
Vote early, vote often.
And I guess you can vote as many times as you would like. Standards rates do apply. We're not going to pick up the tab, but you can vote.
And keep in mind, if you vote for something other than your first choice, then you're kind of canceling out your previous vote. So I guess if you wanted badly enough for one of those to win, you could just keep calling over and over again. I mean, text, excuse me. Technologically challenged, you know.
Well, it's kind of like you're calling. It's kind of a half email, half call. Well, Dempster sure has settled down after giving up back-to-back singles to McLouth and Sanchez in the first inning. He is not allowed a base runner. Got that big 5-3 double play that helped him out. Pulled on the ground, but it's not where Adam LaRoche wants to hit it. And a 3-time Gold Glover for the 3rd straight inning. The Pirates go down 1-2-3. Cubs 3, Pirates nothing.
No doubt about it, the Cubs are on their way.
Duke against Dempster. Ryan has not allowed a run against the Pirates. And 1 start plus 7 shutout innings of 1-hit baseball in Pittsburgh. And he's gone 4 without giving up a run today. Right now he's trying to get on base. Bixler a backhand. They call that the Bixler backhand. He's trying to catch on. Let's take a look at our upcoming WGN produced baseball schedule in high definition, sponsored by Comcast. The Mets are in. Special time tomorrow, 6 o'clock on WCIU channel 26. A full day of baseball Thursday in high definition right here on WGN Sports. The Cubs are in Colorado at 2. Yankees and the White Sox Thursday, 6:30 for White Sox warm-up. You ever tried the Bixler backhand?
I had trouble with the Brenly backhand. I'm not going to try the Bixler backhand.
Ball 1 on Reed Johnson. Congratulations to Cub fan Danica Patrick, first woman to win an IndyCar race. She won a race in Japan. It was her 50th race. The first time in the winner's circle. Isn't that what they call it in racing? The winner's circle?
I believe you're right.
Is there actually a designated circle like the on-deck circle? Johnson got hit. We just talked about it. He's not afraid. And he's on with 1 out.
Tough way to get on base. Sounded like it caught him on that elbow. He does wear a very small elbow guard on that lead left arm. Ooh, right off the point of that left elbow. That pad helps a little bit, but it still gets through there.
He's been hit in double digits every year of his career, starting in 03, 20, 12, 16, 21, 11. And just got hit for the second time this year. Duke will throw to first. Happy birthday wishes to Jackie Campbell from Chicago. Another throw. It's dropped by LaRoche.
It's a good combination to play a little hit and run here should Lou Piniella be so inclined. We haven't seen Lou push a lot of buttons in the early going. Of course, when your offense is clicking the way the Cubs have been, you don't need to do too much over there in that dugout. Just let the guys swing the bats. But good speed on it first. Good handler of the bat at the plate. You've got a lead in the game.
Johnson runs, smacked into right center, right behind him. He'll go to third. Mike Quaddy's going to send him as Nady's momentum was going away from home plate. The throw into second. Everybody safe. Johnson scores. Terrio safe at second with his second double and his third hit. 4-0.
Well, you get the feeling Lou would do a lot more of this. Perfectly executed hit and run. You could see Freddie Sanchez vacated that second base position to cover the bag, and Reed Johnson never breaks stride, comes all the way around, scores from first base. Nicely done. I was about to say, you think Lou would like to do more of that, but you know, from Derek Lee on down in this lineup, you don't want to run the risk of having a guy thrown out to get you out of a big inning.
Right on cue, Terrio steals third. His 4th theft of the season.
Duke doesn't pay much attention to him. We've talked about the Pirates' middle infielders in this series, especially the shortstop Bixler or Rivas, really giving that base runner a lot of room at second base, and Ryan Terrio did his homework and stole on the very first pitch to Derek Lee. Good hard pop-up slide at third base. You can see him jamming that right foot into the bag. That brings him up out of his slide, and he's ready to advance if that ball gets away.
Terriel now with a 7-game hitting streak. In 6 of the 7 games, he has at least 2 hits. And this is a season high for him with 3 hits. The infield is in. It's 3-1 on Lee. Cubs offense has picked up right where it left off on Saturday. I sound like a broken record, but they've put the first 2 on again, all 4 innings. They get to check that there was 1 out as Dempster made the out. They've had multiple base runners, we'll put it that way, in every inning. That's the second walk given up by Zach Duke. Plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of the Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments. Suites are available now for games during the season. Be sure to ask about the April and May incentives. To book your suite or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-Cubs. Ramirez with that inside out swing, and it's a foul by about 1.5 feet tops.
That probably scores both of them if that ball's fair. Derek Lee had a great jump off of first base. Of course, Terrio would score easily from third, but we've seen the Ramos chase D. Lee home from first base a couple of times in this homestand.
Ramirez hit by a pitch, not happy about it. He's the second Cub hitter to be hit in this inning. Ramos really trying to keep cool.
Well, obviously hitters get upset when they get a pitch thrown up near their head, but the second most vulnerable area for a hitter is down there around the knees. Looked like that caught a Ramos right on the outside of the left knee. Get another look at it here. Yeah, just above and on the outside of the left knee. This is something John Russell wasn't looking forward to today. A short start by another one of his starting pitchers with a tattered bullpen.
More history for you. The Cubs are looking to win what would be their 9th straight against the Pirates. The last time they won at least 9 in a row against the Pirates franchise, you have to go back to the late 30s, September 5th, 1938 to May 13th, 1939. That's how dominant they've been in this season series and going back to late last year. The 0-1 to Matt Merton. Blocked by Doman. 1-1.
Well, Matt Merton with such a good eye at the plate, real good knowledge of the strike zone. In this particular situation, he should be looking for a pitch up from Zach Duke, something up around the belt, maybe even higher, that he can lift in the air to the outfield.
One and two, the call made by James Hoyt. By the way, the Gabby Hartnett homer in the Gloman was part of that streak I was talking about. It was back in 1938. To first, backhanded by LaRoche. He'll have to go to first base. Merton has made 3 outs in this ball game, but he has 2 RBIs. And An RBI ground out in the third inning and another here in the fourth. It's 5-0.
That's one place on an infield with the bases loaded that you can hit the ball and be pretty sure they're not going to be able to turn two. You get a left-handed throwing first baseman moving toward that line. LaRoche with no choice but to come up and take the force out at first base. He couldn't throw to second. It was too late to throw home. Nice job, Red.
Still two in scoring position for DeRosa. Lee is at third, Ramirez at second. Cubs have gotten into this offensive groove without their left fielder Alfonso Soriano. I know you were doing your homework today. Sounds like things are progressing well as he'll try to get back after the minimum 15 days from that strained right calf. Popped up by Dero in the right. And Nady with the play to end the inning. But two more score for the Cubs. They've scored in 3 of the first 4 innings. It's 5-0. Cubs 5, Pirates nothing. Tight one on Friday. A blowout yesterday. And it has gone that way so far as Nady gets their first hit since the Sanchez single back in the first. Eleven straight had been sent down by Dempster prior to that Nady single. Now Domet, the catcher. Happy 30th birthday to twin brothers Dave and Christian Ball, both of whom are huge Cub fans from the Bannockburn Deerfield area in the northern suburbs. I don't know which one's older, but happy 30th. Happy birthday wishes to Vince Pellegrini and Willie Snodgrass Jr. Senior. I don't know if it's Junior's birthday, but it is Senior's birthday, or at least it was this week. Lined into left. It's going to hold up for Matt Merton. Now Now let's check in on today's Honda Accord game summary. Visit your Honda dealer and test drive the all-new 268 horsepower Accord V6. Well, the only thing that's gone right for the Pirates this weekend is Nate McLeod has continued his season opening hit streak. The Cubs offense in high gear again. Happy 40th to Purdy.
What a way to spend your birthday, huh? Watching a ball game. Beautiful thing. Boy, speaking about Nate McLeod, Ryan Dempster would like to get out of this inning here somewhere near the bottom so you don't have base runners on when McLeod comes up. Rarely do you say that about a leadoff hitter. I'm sure teams have said it about the Cubs when Alfonso Soriano's batting in that leadoff spot, but for this Pirates ball club that struggled offensively, you'd like to keep those bases clean when the Pirates leadoff hitter is up there.
Happy 65th to Judy Rice. That's from your son Carl, Cubs Senior Director of Facility Management and Information Technology. Here with the Chicago Cubs, Giovanni Soto lost sight of that ball. It was kind of like that play earlier for Domet, right near his feet.
With a wave of panic that comes over you as a catcher when you've blocked a ball in the dirt and you know it's somewhere close by, but you're not sure exactly where. And if the ball happens to be moving, you know, you look to your left and the ball is on your right side, but then by the time you look to your right side, the ball is rolled to your left side, and sometimes it seems like it just disappears.
Enjoyed your Kerry Wood leadoff man interview, and you asked him about Ryan Dempster. Kerry going one way and Dempster going the other way, and what he said was the goal is still the same. That is to get hitters out, make pitches, get guys out. There's just a little bit of a difference in routine.
Well, especially the physical part of it. I mean, mentally, we all know Kerry Wood is a heck of a competitor. He's a battler out there on the mound, as is Ryan Dempster. But the physical part of it, you know, we ask him about being a starting pitcher, throwing every 5th day, and starters always get on some kind of a regular routine when they have their throw day and they have an off day and have a day when they play long toss in the outfield, all in preparation for their next start. But as a closer, you come to the ballpark every day and there's a chance you might get into the ball game. So you have to really monitor your pregame throwing and your pregame workout with it in the back of your mind that you may be needed today in the ball game.
By the way, Nady was on the move on the previous pitch to the one we just saw. He was not running on this last 3-2. If you missed that interview, or if you'd like to see it again, you can check it out on WGNTV.com beginning tomorrow. Nady goes again this time. A fly ball to deep center. Johnson circling. He lays out, can't get it. Nady was standing basically on second base, and a good job by Reed Johnson. He puts his hands up as both Pirates are going to circle the bases, and the first base umpire, Dana DeMuth, is taking a long run out there. Let's see what he calls. You can see the baseball partially, but it's in there enough in the vines, and they're calling for a double. So not only does Bautista have to go back to second, but Nady should go back to third. So a nice break for the Cubs on a ball that was smoked by Bautista.
Yeah, Reed Johnson got turned around out there in center field, tried to recover, and that's actually a heads-up play right there. Even though you can see the baseball, the letter of the law says that the ball is stuck in the vines, an outfielder puts your hands up, the umpire comes out and looks at it like Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, did, and declares it a double. Yeah, certainly Reed Johnson could dig that ball out. Nady is all the way to second base already when that ball lands. Might as well use it to your advantage. This is your home ballpark. It's important that the players know what the ground rules are and use them to your advantage.
We can't say enough about how quickly Reed Johnson, you never quite master Wrigley Field, but he has really understood the nuances. He has hit the ball extremely well here. made a terrific over-the-shoulder catch the other day. And a lot of outfielders here would at least reach in. Didn't Matt Merton have a little uncertain moment a couple of years ago where he reached in and then tried to leave it?
I think every outfielder that plays here for the first year, or for the first part of the year that they play with the Cubs, runs into that at least once or twice. Johnson got turned the wrong way initially, looking over his left shoulder, quickly makes a correction, but the wind pushed that ball further away from him towards the gap, and once it goes into the vines, raise your hands. You start digging around in there and that ball moves and drops down further behind the vines, and suddenly it turns into an inside the park home run.
This barehanded play by Tony Beasley, the third base coach. Dempster can be a little picky here. He has Bixler down 1-2. He also has the pitcher on deck. He just hit Bixler, but again, not the end of the world with Duke coming up. He wanted to get him, but he did not have to throw him a cookie in this situation.
It's just a fastball that continues to run up and in, much like the one that clipped Reed Johnson. Just a glancing blow off the back of that left arm on Bixler, and John Russell's going to take this opportunity to pull the plug on Zach Duke and try to score some runs. Looks like Doug Minkiewicz is going to be the pinch hitter for Zach Duke.
Hey, don't forget to check out our new WGN Cubs baseball podcast. Bob and I recorded a new one today. It will be available for viewing and downloading on WGNTV.com tomorrow. This is a fun one. We're going to try to get your input as well on Bob Vorwall, our executive producer's great idea. There's a connection to our 60th anniversary of Cubs baseball here on WGN Sports. It's Len and Bob's weekly podcast. Best chance for the Pirates. Bases loaded, 1 out. And ball 1 on Minkiewicz.
And once again, always with an eye on the hottest hitter on the opposing ball club, Nate McLouth, in the on-deck circle. Ground ball double play would be huge right here.
The kick and the pitch. 2-0. Dempster has been extremely stingy against lefties. He has given up 1 hit to a lefty today, and that was McLouth in the first inning. The 2-0 is in there, 2-1.
77 pitches, pitching here in the top half of the 5th inning.
He's gone at least 6 in each of his first 3 starts. Time was called. A ball got out of the Pirates bullpen briefly. That's Osorio, a right-hander. The 2-1 into left and a base hit. The throw is going to go toward the plate, cut off by Ramirez. Nady's in with their first run against Ryan Dempster this year. 5-1, and Larry Rothschild will head out.
This could be one of those meetings just to give Demps a little bit of a breather out there on the mound. It's been a high-stress inning, had a lot going on after the leadoff base hit by Nady. A couple of balls have been hit very hard. Doman lined out to left field. Batista's doubled to straightaway center. Just kind of give him a minute to clear his mind, focus on the task at hand right here, and hopefully get that ground ball he's looking for.
Marshall and Lieber just got up. McLeod representing the tying run. Good block by Gio. He got over there quickly. Saved a run for the time being.
Boy, and he had a long way to go to get in front of that attempted wild pitch from Ryan Dempster. That ball hits clear over in the middle of the left-handed batter's box, and somehow Gio is able to get over there, square it up, block it, and keep it in front.
Well, they're lucky it didn't hit McLeod. Bautista, the lead runner. You have Bixler at second. Another one trailing way inside. And Kavich with a pinch hit RBI single at first.
And that pinpoint control we saw through the first 4 innings has kind of abandoned Ryan Dempster here in the 5th. When he's missed the zone, he's missed by a lot. Another quick meeting to the mound, this time by Giovanni Soto. This one is more to give the bullpen time to throw a few more pitches down there.
Now, normally the hitter has the take sign all the way. Considering how hot McLeod is, do you think the Pirates would consider letting him hack away at a pitch right down the middle?
Well, trailing by 4 runs, normally I would say no. You take a strike in this situation. But McLeod is one of the hottest hitters on the planet. He takes a ball 4.
Walk number 1 for Dempster. It's now 5-2. Well, he got a break when that ball went into the ivy, but both guys who did come around to score and were moved back now have crossed the plate. And the pitch to Sanchez is hit foul off to the right.
I was about to say, this is one of those tough ones for a manager. You know, Lou would like to leave Ryan Dempster in the ball game long enough to have an opportunity to get a win in this ball game. He needs to finish his 5th inning with a lead if that's going to be the case. But the bottom line is you want to win a ball game for your team.
Slowly hit. It'll be cut off by Ramirez. The throw goes to first base. Run number 3 is in. Bixler scores. Sanchez with an RBI. 5-3. And now a single could tie it as the Pirates had 2 in scoring position with 2 gone.
Thought initially they might have a chance to turn this, but the ball just wasn't hit hard enough. Ramirez goes several steps to his left before throwing on to first for the out. And Nate McLeod had a big jump off of first base and would probably have beaten the throw to second.
At this point, you'd have to think Bay might be Dempster's last batter if he doesn't get him. You have Marshall up in the bullpen and LaRoche on deck. You also have Ryan due up 3rd in the bottom of the inning, so it might be his final hitter even if he gets out of this inning. Runners will hold. Soto kept that ball. It was parallel to him. Didn't get behind him.
Gio's been busy today, dirt dogging back there behind home plate. He's had to work hard both directions. So far has blocked everything.
They're loaded again.
Dempster has retired LaRoche twice in this ball game, and he has struggled against righties and lefties this year. Not a huge advantage to be had going to the bullpen to a lefty right now. I think Lou's going to give Dempster an opportunity to pitch out of this.
That's the way it looks. 3 on with 2 outs. A 30-pitch inning. 1-0. And now Derek Lee will jog up to the mound just to try to shake things up a little bit. You think that was a case where he just said something benign to maybe get him to think about something else?
I'm not sure what he said out there. It didn't take very long, though.
Well, he comes right back with a strike, 1-1. Whatever he told him, it worked. The next one, strike 2. Get up here at Wrigley Field. Bases loaded. 3 in for the Pirates. Dempster trying to get out of it.
We won't know for sure what Derek Lee said until we ask him after the ball game, but sometimes it's as easy as going out there and saying, we've got your back. Put the ball over the plate. We'll make a play and get you out of this mess. Sometimes a pitcher can get so tunnel vision, he forgets he's got 7 guys playing behind him and a catcher in front of him that are trying to help get him out of the inning.
Pulled foul. Going away, Ryan now. It sure feels like he did as a closer, trying to get that big final out, even though it's the 5th inning. Another 1-2. He struck him out, and he does get out of it. Probably his final pitch of the day. The Pirates are back in it. They get 3 runs. They leave 3. It's now 5-3 Cubs. To both of you guys. And here's another look at our AT&T text poll question. Your last chance to vote for your favorite Wrigley Field tradition of 97999. Pirates now in their bullpen.
We saw Osorio in the first game of this series. He came in relief of Ian Snell. Snell went 6 innings. Osorio the last 2 only had a base on balls. Otherwise zeros across the board.
Pulls a breaking ball low and outside. Good job by Dempster to get out of it when it looked like it was falling apart around him. He did give up 3. But got the big strikeout of LaRoche to end the inning. Everybody sat back down in the bullpen, and he has his batting helmet on. He's thrown 94 pitches, and we'll see if he has another inning left.
Now, this may be one of those situations that's dependent on what happens to the 2 hitters in front of him here in this inning. If Dempster has an opportunity to go to the plate and sacrifice bunt once again, give up an out to move a couple runners into scoring position, he may get to take his at bat and go back out to pitch. We've also seen Lou on a couple of different occasions let the pitcher hit and then take him out anyway.
Solid single to start the inning for Soto. He's been on all 3 times. During the Bay at bat, Ryan looked to the dugout, kind of nodded. I'm not sure what the intention there was. I suppose it's possible he kind of worked around Bay. I don't know if he felt more comfortable pitching to LaRoche or not. It worked out that way.
I saw what you're talking about. Demps looked right into the dugout, and Lou actually pointed over to the on-deck circle to Adam LaRoche, perhaps indicating that that's all right. We'll go after the next guy.
Bunted by Cedeno, and it is foul. No matter what happens the rest of the day, you know Ryan Dempster after the ball game will say that he appreciates the confidence from his manager and pitching coach that they let him get out of that 5th inning. He was hanging by a fingernail. 2 guys up in the bullpen ready to work. And Mike Fontenot is going to replace Ryan in the on-deck circle. Pushed the other way, foul. Not thrilled right now.
Well, he's obviously not pleased with his outing, especially that 5th inning, the way it went after 4 stellar innings to start the ball game.
Fouled back.
You know, and his anger is certainly understandable. He's a guy that expects to pitch deep into the ball game, and he's done so in his first 3 starts this year. But you know, the bottom line for a starting pitcher is, do you give your team a chance to win a ball game? Now, granted, he gave up 3 runs in the 5th, but his team had already put 5 on the board. So Ryan Dempster has done what he needed to do today, and now it's up to the Cubs bullpen to bring it home.
The other key thing is that in all 4 starts, he has exited with the lead. His team has been up 6-2, 2-0, 5-3, and again 5-3 today when he has come out. Short lead by Soto. And Osorio with that slide step, and a foul by Cedeno. You do have to like my timing, talking about how he appreciates them letting him get through 5 as he's slamming his helmet up against the bat rack. But I agree with you. I think Ryan's probably more upset with himself for putting his manager in the position of having to take him out after he cruised through the first 4. Inside.
Well, you know, starting is certainly not new to Ryan Dempster. He's done it and done it well earlier in his career, but he's in a position right now where he's just trying to reestablish himself as a starting pitcher, and his manager and pitching coach are trying to learn him and what they can expect from him. What are the danger signs when he's about to lose it out there on the mound? And it's all part of the process.
What an at bat by Ronnie. A very deep at bat, and it turns into an extra base hit. Giovanni Soto coming around. No relay throw. So they get one of them back, 6-3, and still no outs.
Boy, and another great at bat for Ronnie Cedeno. Hopefully the light bulb has gone on for Ronnie. Fouls off the borderline pitcher's pitches. When the pitcher makes a mistake and he can get the barrel of the bat on the ball, he's made some things happen. He's taken a base on balls or two. And look at Giovanni Soto all the way from first base. You gotta love those catchers. That ball was scalded past Batista down into the corner. Like an antelope. That up, baby.
Those Geos can fly.
Get good mileage, too.
Off to an excellent start. Soto hitting over 300. He's come up with a lot of big hits. Fontenot pinch hitting for Dempster. And an 0-2 hole. The pitch. By LaRoche. Over near the back of the tarp. Another run will score. 7-3. Error number 23 on the Pirates. Most in the majors.
Kind of an awkward swing that time by Mike Fontenot. The pitch was down and in off the plate. He manages to roll over and hit that ground ball to the right side, which was going to move Cedeno up to third base. But when LaRoche fans on the ball, Cedeno comes all the way around to score. Once again, you try to do the right thing, hit that ball to the right side to advance the runner. It ends up being a run.
So the lead is back to 4. Pirates got 3 in the top of the inning, but the Cubs with 2 of their own. Everybody 1 through 8 with either a hit or an RBI. The only guy without a hit is Merton, but he's knocked in 2.
And the top 2 guys in the batting order, Reed Johnson, Ryan Theriot, each have scored 2 runs in this ballgame. You love to see that kind of production.
Runner goes, hooked off the glove of Batista. And everybody's safe again. That's a hit. Number 2 for Reed. On for the 3rd time.
And once again, with the right combination of personnel on base and at the plate, Lou Piniella pushing the buttons today. Mike Fontenot was on the move at first base. Reed Johnson on the hit and run, reaches out and hooks a bad pitch back to the left side where Batista can only knock it down. Cubs have it cooking again.
John Russell on the left, former Cub, and the Pirate bench coach Gary Varsho on the right. Always good to see Gary Varsho. Loves coming back to Wrigley Field. Bunted foul. Big day for Theriot.
Well, if indeed he's still trying to put down a sac bunt here, you would anticipate it going to the third base side, force Batista to come in and make the play.
Knocked down by the pitcher. And here comes Fontenot halfway down the line. He's caught up. The throw goes back to third, and a base running mistake by Fontenot as he's tagged out.
You see the ball pop back there. Osorio plays it on a hop and pushes it back toward the first baseline. I think Mike Fontenot was anticipating Doma throwing that ball to first base. Took a big turnaround third. For a moment there was nobody covering home plate. But then I think that was Adam LaRoche that ended up covering home plate, forcing Fontenot to try to get back to third base.
They gave Terrio a hit, his fourth, and Fontenot out 2-5. Well, how many balls have gotten out of the gloves of Pirates players? You had the Bixler play earlier. They did get an out. Just couldn't squeeze it. Ball tipping off the glove of Batista. Soria not able to make the catch, and he pushed that ball into foul territory.
Saw Nate McLouth in center field earlier in the series lose a ball. It was a very tough play going back toward the wall, but hit his glove and dropped for extra bases.
A wild one going on in Cincinnati. They went to the 10th, and the Brewers took a 2-0 or a 3-1 lead, scored twice, but Eric Gagne has given it up. Tie ball game again. The Brewers right now, Bob, have 14 pitchers on their 25-man roster. Ben Sheets with a triceps injury, not on the DL. They brought Gallardo back, and they sent out Joe Dillon.
That means they have 3 extra men off the bench. The backup catcher Mike Rivera, usually Craig Counsell, and Gabe Kapler, a backup outfielder.
Encarnacion and Baco with back-to-back home runs to tie that one up. Tightness in his right triceps. That's the latest injury for Ben Sheets. Lee waited back and fouled it off. Still 2-2 on him.
And Ned Yost said they were going to shut him down until the tightness went away. He said that tightness, especially in a pitcher's throwing arm, is a precursor to an injury. When you have a guy going out there pitching at less than 100% with tightness somewhere in his throwing arm, that usually leads to some kind of more serious injury. So they're going to play that one very cautiously.
Another 2-2, a broken bat ground ball. Batista will throw to second base for 1. Relay throw gets by LaRoche. Reed Johnson will score. So we're back to where we were about an inning ago before the Pirates scored their 3 runs. It's now 8-3.
Well, what looked to be a tailor-made double play ball. Remember, Freddie Sanchez has had some problems with that throwing shoulder. Really spiked that ball in the dirt, and another subpar effort by Adam LaRoche over at first base on the other end. Good hustle by the Riot, getting right on top of Sanchez out there at second base, disrupting that relay throw.
Rick Fowl, 2 errors in the inning, the latest charged to Freddie Sanchez. LaRoche with 1 earlier. Johnson has now scored 3 runs, and it's 8-3. wants to get back in there. Darryl Ward hit his first home run. His first hit was yesterday. Snapped an 0 for 11 with a 2-run blast in the 7th.
Well, he's always got a bat in his hand. I'm not sure what Lou has up his sleeve today, but Matt Merton in the on-deck circle. He could choose to drop Darryl Ward in there as a pinch hitter for Merton in this situation. The Pirates do have 3 lefties in the bullpen, but none of them throwing right now.
High deep drive by Ramirez. Bay's going to watch it go. 10-3. That's his 4th of the year. Cubs forever. They've been up forever here in the 5th. I think Ryan Dempster's feeling a lot better.
Well, Ramirez barely missed one earlier in the ball game. This time he doesn't miss anything. Our Southwest, how far did it fly? 382 feet into the welcoming arms of the Cub fans out there in the bleachers.
Trickling down the line by Merton. Infield hit.
Thank you.
Everybody hits.
There's a brain cramp on the part of Osorio right there. He's got no play on Matt Merton at first base. You might as well let that ball roll and hope it goes foul. Our Southwest, how far did it roll? Oh, about 30 feet. At that point, you have no play at first base. You've got nothing to lose by letting that ball roll on down the line and hope it hits a rock and kicks into foul territory, but the redhead will take it.
Double digits again. 23 runs the last game and a half for the Cubs offense. It's the 4th time they've scored at least 10 runs. A rainbow into center. Nate McLouth will end the inning. 9 come up for the Cubs in the 5th. They put up 5 and now lead 10-3. to 3. Thumbs up all around. So each team batted around in the 5th. 9 went to the plate for the Pirates, same for the Cubs. And it's right-hander Bob Howery here in the 6th.
Well, you know, Lou just absolutely loves to see his offense come back and put some runs on the board after his starting pitcher Ryan Dempster gave up 3 in the top half of the 5th. Just take any momentum that the Pirates may have gained in the top half of that 5th inning and snatch it away.
The Cubs have done it today without their right fielder Kosuke Fukudome. A small cyst above his right eye caused some inflammation in his eyelid. He was a late scratch from the lineup. Hopefully he'll be back in there tomorrow. A sebaceous cyst. That's the technical term for what it is. Not deemed serious. He's on antibiotics. And hopefully that thing will go away quickly. Popped out of the mid on a swing and a miss by Nady, who obviously didn't see it, on his way back to the dugout. He's tagged out. Well, Cubs Forever, sponsored by National City, celebrating 60 years of WGN TV and the Cubs. It's tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Also, Cubs Forever, the book, available at triumphbooks.com. And following Cubs Forever, we'll relive 60 years of great television on WGN TV, your favorite news, sports, and of course, Bozo Circus memories of the past 60 years on Chicago's very own Channel 9. Keep it here all afternoon and into the evening. And then the WGN News at 9. Instant replay will wrap up the day in sports. The recap from this one. Kerry Wood has gone from the bullpen to the dugout.
Well, with a seemingly comfortable 7-run lead, you wouldn't figure we would see Woody in this ball game today, so he's going down there where the heaters are for a while.
Ryan Doman skies it deep to right, and the ballpark won't hold it. Into the bleachers, 10-4. That's his 3rd home run of the year.
Cubs have been able to keep Ryan Doman quiet throughout this series. He's a guy that has tremendous power, especially from this side of the plate, the left side. Ball up and out over the plate where he can get his arms extended. No doubt about where that one was headed.
Swing and a miss by Bautista. Sad news in the world of baseball, and our condolences go out to the family of former Major League catcher John Marzano, who passed away after falling down some stairs at his home. Played 10 years, all in the American League. And in fact, we saw John Marzano last weekend in Philadelphia. John Russell knew him pretty well. It's outside. Now, the updated story on MLB.com today said after reportedly falling down a flight of stairs after having a heart attack, John Marzano was only 45 years old.
Oh, man.
From Philadelphia. Went to Temple and had been working as a broadcaster. And he's survived by his wife, 2 daughters, and 2 grandchildren. time called before a 2-2 pitch. Howery struck out in 80 to start this inning, and then Dolman took one out to right. Called strike 3. The fastball at 88, well located. We had the advantage of checking out the stadium gun. It had 92. Ours was 88. So the velocity isn't everything. The location on that pitch is more important.
It may have caught a sliver of that outside corner, but that was enough for James Hoy behind the plate to ring up Batista. Good movement on that tailing fastball.
Even though it hasn't gone smoothly for Bob Howery, the Cubs are winning. And at some point, he's going to be pitching back in the 8th inning and getting big outs. Maybe the first sailboat of the season out on Lake Michigan. That's a good sign.
Yes, indeed.
All the outs are strikeouts for Howery in the 6th. Dolman with the home run. It's now 10-4 Cubs. On today's AT&T text poll question, we wanted to know your favorite Wrigley Field tradition. It was close, but the 7th inning stretch took the honors, 32%. Mentioned the stretch, day baseball, the Ivy, the scoreboard. Again, I thought it was a tough call today. See what's new at the new AT&T. Visit att.com for details.
See, I'd have voted for the day baseball. Because as a player, there's nothing like seeing a baseball under the sunshine. I mean, the lights in Major League Parks are great, don't get me wrong, but nothing like day baseball here at Wrigley Field. And quite honestly, as a player, the Ivy and the scoreboard and the 7th inning stretch don't affect you too much. But the day baseball does.
In the case of Reed Johnson, he might have picked the Ivy,
yeah,
even though those guys would eventually score. But a heads-up play out in center. And one of our favorite 7th inning stretch guests of all time, Bonnie Hunt, one of the biggest Cub fans around. She will conduct the stretch today. We are looking forward to that. She'll make an appearance on Cubs Forever as well as Soto Takes a leadoff walk. Giovanni on all 4 times. Bob, this is our 4th year together, and I can't think of another stretch of maybe a week's worth of games where this offense has been better overall. The patience, the power, the speed you mentioned, and the Cubs have done it without Alfonso Soriano. They really have picked him up now that he's on the DL. It'll be great to get him back within about 12 days or so. But it's very encouraging what this team has done lately.
Well, and hopefully it's something that'll carry over for the rest of the season. And I think it all works off that patience you talked about. We've seen a lot of deep hitters counts. Yeah, guys are seeing 4, 5, 6, 7 pitches per at bat, which can only help you in your subsequent at bats in a ball game, and really puts a lot of pressure on the defense, puts a lot of pressure on the opposing pitching staff and the opposing manager. They really just have it all clicking right now offensively.
You can't pick just one player or one particular thing that has gone on. Backed up Ryan Doman, who lost his mask. Ryan Terrio's 4 for 4. Hitting well over 300. This always hurts. Hurts to watch.
Oof. It doesn't really hurt that bad. I mean, it definitely gets your attention and it rattles your cage a little bit, but I think catchers would tell you they'd much rather get hit in the mask than several other places on their body.
The Reds beat the Brewers in 10. Milwaukee with 2 in the top of the 10th. The Reds scored 3 to win it. All those runs were charged to Eric Gagne. And with the Cardinals being shut out 8-0 in the 7th, the Cubs have the opportunity to jump into first place. A lot of talk about not trying to play catch up all year like the Cubs did for a long time last season. They've been better at home. They've been terrific against left-handed starters.
3-1 in extra inning ball games.
And the close ones they're taking. They won 10 the entire month of April last year. They're closing in on what would be their 12th win as we sit here on the 20th. Cedeno has given a lot of Cub fans souvenirs the last 2 days. Shoots it to right for a base hit. Well, you know, we should give a lot of credit to the hitting coach, Gerald Perry. And I think, and Lou alluded to the new guys talking to the media before the game, but the patient approach of Fukudome and Johnson. And it's contagious.
You know, we've heard a lot of talk recently about Felix PA in an effort to shorten up his swing, and I think that's what we're seeing from Ronnie Cedeno. And when you feel confident that you can wait a long time on that pitch, you tend to swing at better pitches and not chase as many balls out of the strike zone, work deeper counts. Ronnie Cedeno really swinging the bat well here in his audition at second base.
Bob Howry getting a rare plate appearance. He bunts toward third. It's foul. Well, these are always fun because relievers who don't get the bat, they can probably wear out the starters. Oh, come on. How could you not get that bunt down? What are you hitting? You're hitting 0-30. Bob Howry saying, look, I'm a .500 career hitter. I'm 1 for 2. His 606th career appearance on the mound. And this is just his third plate appearance. And he's a lefty at the plate. And he will never hear the end of it if he can't get this one down. It's foul, and he strikes out. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Ten to 4 Cubs. They put the first 2 on in the first inning, the second. The first 3 reached in the third. After Dempster made it out in the fourth, the next 4 batters got on. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got on in the fifth. And the top 2 hitters in the sixth inning reaching base. You are going to score a lot of runs when you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Cubs are 4 for 17 with runners in scoring position. They've stranded 8, but they're into double digits where it counts.
Just the air of confidence that this team is playing with, especially on the offensive side of the game right now. A lot of really good at bats, a lot of hard hit balls, even on the outs. Aggressive base running. This is a team that's hungry to score runs.
Soft liner to center, holding up for McLeod. Two outs in the inning. Check out the Cubs online shop, Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Check out the Cubs.com shop today. What a day for the Riot. Give me 2 of everything. And before you say yeah, but it's against the Pirates team that came in 29th in the majors in ERA. You don't make up the schedule. You play the games as they come. And good teams beat other teams they should beat. A win today would make it 6-0 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it's more important to play well against the Pirates than it is teams outside this division, because they play them 18 times. It's been a busy day out there in the scoreboard. Let's put it this way. If the Cubs go undefeated against the Pirates and don't win a game all year against the Diamondbacks or the Rockies, they'll be okay, because they'll be like 18-6. They're loaded for Lee. Jimmy Rollins finally went to the disabled list. It's the first time he's gone on the DL in his career. He did not play in that series against the Cubs. He has the sprained ankle. Chipper Jones and Alex Rodriguez left their respective games with quad injuries. Also, Doug Davis who underwent surgery for thyroid cancer a little over a week ago, has now said he hopes to be back in action on May 9th here at Wrigley Field. Will be his return to the Diamondbacks. Playing catch yesterday. 1-1 on Lee. Make it 1-2.
Well, you're saying about beating the teams you're supposed to beat, and that will change over the course of a season. I mean, this Pirates ball club, as much as they've struggled against the Cubs in the early going this season, at some point this year they're going to run off 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 12, and you don't want to play them right then when they're swinging the bats well and when their pitchers are throwing strikes and pitching well. They'll be a different team at that point. You catch some of the better teams in baseball when they're not playing particularly well, and that's a team that you should beat. Boy, Marte really wanted this pitch right here. Backdoor breaking ball. Might have caught the plate, but looked like it was down a little bit.
Fans on their feet for a 3-2 pitch. Base hit left field. Soto scores. Cedeno will as well. 12-4. Derek Lee now with 17 RBIs.
We showed you the pitch before. Marte did not get the benefit of the call, and Derek Lee makes him pay, driving home a couple of teammates with a clean single into left field. Marte came over and had a couple of quick words with James Hoy. He must have used a very pleasant tone of voice because no confrontation at all.
"25 runs over the last 2 games. Six times 9 is what, 54?
Yep.
On my scorecard, I only have like, I'll have to recount, but only like a dozen empty spots through the first 6 for the Cubs. Another base hit to right. Here comes Terrio. So they've tied their season high with 13 runs.
Nice controlled swing, drive that ball through the right side. Marte's consistently been picking away at that outside corner with the tailing fastball and the big sweeping breaking ball, so Ramirez just obliges him by hitting the ball that way to drive home another run.
All right, here's what I'm getting at. There are 54 boxes here in the first 6 innings. I have 13 empty spaces. They've almost used all of them. You probably can't read it, but it's been busy. The inning ends. That's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Yeah, well, 13-4. Chris Gomez, who will pinch hit. 13-17-0 for the Cubs. 4-6-2 for the Pirates. Called strike. Got away from Bob. 1-1. Giovanni Soto finished the day 2 for 2 with 2 walks and 2 runs. Nice piece of hitting by Gomez as he dunks it into right. Time for today's Bud Light Fan Cam on a sunny day at Wrigley Field. It's on Paul Westerberg. It's a great Paul Westerberg track, Dice Behind Your Shades, going back to his first solo record in 1993. Today's Bud Light Fan Cam. Bud Light keeps it coming. Strike 1 on Nate McLouth. Well, the last time McLouth was at the bat, the Pirates were sneaking back into this game. He took a bases loaded walk. They would add another run. Sanchez on a ground out RBI. It was 5-3. And now it's 13-4. Left-hander Phil DeMontre is up for the visitors. That one hit McLouth.
Just got a piece of the jersey right there. You'll hear it on our replay here. The ball tipping off his jersey and then hitting the catcher's mitt. Double thud there. Just clipped the jersey.
Sanchez the hitter. 2 on, no outs. Ball 1. Florida beat Washington 6-1 the final. Scott Olson improves to 3-0. The turtleneck on, the fashionable hat, the shades, broken background, do not hit hard. The out will be recorded at second only. Cedeno to Terrio, 1 away. $41,405. Having a lot of fun today. Largest crowd of the season at home. Home date number 12. It's the target. Strike 1 on Jason Bay. Bonnie Hunt getting ready for our 7th inning stretch.
One of our favorites in the booth.
Throughout the first pitch. She doesn't know that her microphone's not working, but she's practicing. Too low, 2-1. Atlanta over the Dodgers 6-1 the final. Jair Jurgens with the win. He's 2-2. beat Hiroki Kuroda.
What were those two names again?
Jair Jurgens and Hiroki Kuroda.
Well, that's enough to put a cramp in your tongue right there.
Popped up by Bay. Terrio backpedals, and he caught it. Ball almost popped out of his mitt. Might have been the infield fly rule anyway. Time to have a ball with our friends at the Illinois Lottery. Great hand for Bonnie Hunt, Chicago native. Yeah, she said, wow. This big sellout crowd.
Half the battle for a pitcher is just walking out there with confidence. Did you see the way she just strolled out to that mound like she owned it?
Kevin Hart receiving that first pitch. Adam LaRoche fouls back. For good measure in that Dodger-Atlanta game, Mark Teixeira, T-E-I-X-E-I-R-A, went deep. The Rockies lead 4-3 in Houston in the bottom of the 8th. Garrett Atkins with his 3rd home run. We'll see the Rockies, the defending National League champions, Wednesday and Thursday from Denver. Left-hander Wandy Rodriguez has gone to the DL for Houston. David Weathers with the Reds now on the shelf. Michael Wirtz throwing in the shade. Diamondbacks behind Randy Johnson, leading at home 1-0 over the Padres as they play the 3rd inning. Too high.
We were talking earlier, Len. I had a chance to see a little bit of that Diamondbacks game last night. They may have one of the fastest outfields ever assembled in the major leagues. Eric Burns in left, who was a center fielder most of his career. Chris Young in center, and Justin Upton out in right field. There are very little gaps in that ballpark when those three are together out there.
The Blue Jays dumped Detroit 5-3. A.J. Brunette over Nate Robertson. David Eckstein hit his first home run with Toronto. Frank Thomas released. He was struggling. He was benched. He didn't like it, and a mutual agreement was reached, and he is free to sign with somebody else. That Eckstein home run knocked in 3. Yankees 7, Baltimore 1, top of the 9th. In Camden Yards, Johnny Damon with his 2nd. Tim Wakefield is 2-0. The Red Sox scored 2 in the 7th and 4 in the 8th to erase a 5-0 deficit at Fenway Park. Called strike 3. Here comes Bonnie.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, actress Bonnie Hunt.
All right, Cub fans, let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some diamonds and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back for its roots.
Cubs leading big. It
I'll
is
say.
13-4. Bonnie Hunt hit every note.
I don't know about that.
And you changed one word.
I did?
Yeah. You said diamonds instead of peanuts. Did you already have peanuts?
I got plenty of peanuts.
You just want some diamonds.
Yes, I would like one diamond, Len. I don't think that's much for a girl to ask. Okay, hold on. I got to cross my legs. There we
Okay.
go.
You have enough room?
Yeah, it's just tough with this mini skirt on.
Right, the jersey. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
No, I'm wearing a mini skirt, Len. That's the story we're going with.
Okay, I got you.
You realize this is not radio, right?
Yes, yes, smarty pants.
Kind of gives it away.
I just hope the framing of the shot was a little higher.
Well, we're in this widescreen high definition, so you pick up more on screen than it appears as DeRosa takes the walk.
Okay, this is a great guy, DeRosa.
He is.
He has such gratitude for where he is right now in his life and his career, being here at Wrigley Field, being a Cub. I interviewed him before the game, and I just love the respect, and I just love that old-fashioned feeling of gratitude. And just Ron Santa walked by him and he said, "Nice hitting, kid." And I was just sitting there. I said, "Mark, what does it feel like?" He goes, "It's a dream. It's like a fantasy, you know."
Well, he knows what's going on. We talked to him the other day, and Bob, I don't know who was pitching, but I think he had the pitch count and everything.
Yeah.
Right after the game. He's on top of it. So how are you? It's been a while since you've been up here in the booth with us. And,
I miss you guys.
Yeah, what's the deal? It's been way too long.
Well, you know.
Life takes
You were
over,
supposed
right?
to call me on opening day, Len. He calls my sister 3 days later, and all he said is, "What are you wearing?" And he hung up.
He does that to me all the time, too.
What can I say?
Yeah.
Well,
no,
you come here every opening day. This
Yeah.
is a tradition.
Always with the guys from the old neighborhood. My brother Tommy gets the tickets. You know, he works with the electrical guys here. Mike, the electrician, good friend of the family. And we grew up in this park. This is our backyard, and it's where my heart is. I love being here.
See, when you say you don't have a diamond, this is your diamond right
Oh,
here, the biggest diamond in the world.
That is so great.
There you go. It's a lot cheaper, too.
Oh, well, see, had to qualify it. No, that was a very, you know, this is the most romantic place on earth, Wrigley Field.
Well, DeMatre can't find the strike zone. 2 on with nobody out. Cubs Forever comes up at 7 o'clock tonight.
Tonight, yeah. Oh, God, I was so excited when I got the book. Have you seen the book? It's
The
fantastic.
book is terrific.
Isn't it great?
Our executive producer, Bob Vorwald, wrote the book. And
Bob's a great guy.
no pun intended, but hunted you down.
Yes.
You're not that tough to find. You're always
That's
happy
true.
to talk about the Cubs. And you, in the show coming up tonight, brought to you by National City at 6 o'clock. You said WGN has been the soundtrack of your life.
That's true. You know, when you grew up in Chicago and you're from a big family like I was in a blue-collar neighborhood, the Cubs were on. You know, that was the beginning of the summer and the spring, and, you know, renewal and more hope. And I still have that feeling my whole life, whether it's with my career or my personal life. You know, I'm a Cubs fan at heart, and it's cheaper than therapy. You know, it just kind of conditions you for disappointment, and you'll get over it. There's always next year. And that's life.
And how do you feel now with the team playing so well?
Oh, my
You don't
God.
want to get too excited. However, you want to really enjoy it right now. It's early on, but this team is rolling right now.
Yeah, this is the year. The offense is unbelievable. I mean, listen, my mom was just talking to Ernie Banks before the show. What a thrill to see my mom sitting there with Ernie. And she said, "This is the year, Ernie, because we're both still here." And they've been waiting and waiting for their lifetime to happen. Whoop.
Did you stop by the statue on your way in?
I
A lot
did.
of fans have been doing that. That's
Oh, it's
become
great.
a daily ritual.
Yeah, everybody's out there by the statue. Ernie deserves it. Yeah, excellent.
Let's play 2.
They're going to put a statue of me up in front of that McDonald's across the street. Really looking forward to that.
Hey, I have to ask you, I read somewhere that one of your favorite roles in a movie was actually the voiceover you did for Cars.
Yeah, well, you know, I love the guys from Pixar. They're so creative and imaginative and full of love in their stories. And, you know, when you do movies that affect children's lives, it kind of lasts forever. You know, because, you know, the movies of your childhood, they stay with you forever.
Sure.
They have such an impression. They're so magical. And I really love doing those kind of family movies because it keeps you alive for a long time in a child's mind.
Well, plus you were a hot, sporty Porsche, right?
The best my body's ever looked in a film. Animation. But it was a lot of fun. And I love working with the Pixar guys. That was my 4th movie for them, so I was really lucky.
Here's Felix P.A. pinch hitting. And you have your own daily talk show coming up. With the title is great. It's right to the point. The Bonnie Hunt Show.
Yeah, when I
like
saw
it.
that in the paper, I thought I got to try out for that one. What are they going to do?
make
Get all
sense.
new jackets, you know? So, yeah, you guys have to come on. I'm going to do a lot of Chicago stuff. And,
We would love to.
yeah, it'll be a great show because it'll be intelligent and from the heart, you know, because I have a great team around me, great team of people. A lot of Chicagoans. All my buddies work for me. So.
We saw you doing a lot of interviews down on the field before the game today. Is that going to be part of the show somehow? Yeah,
because for me, any kind of team sport is there's just some great elegance to it. Of course, I was born into a team. There's 7 kids. My dad wanted 9 boys. He wanted a baseball team. And he had the 3 oldest boys, and then he said the dishes started piling up in the sink. So I thought I'd have some daughters. That was his that was his politically correct way of raising us. He was a classic, my father. But Wrigley Field was one of his favorite places in the world.
The 1-2 pitch is outside on PA. We're with Bonnie Hunt, one of the great Cub fans on the planet. Now it says that you've been to every Cubs opener since 1977.
That's correct.
Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe even before then, but I don't know. I have to change it to 87 so I can sound younger. I got to start adjusting that pretty soon. But
you know, say when you were a baby, you came to Wrigley Field.
That's right.
Strike 3.
Yeah, when we moved, we used to be in the bleachers, and we'd go to the grandstands, and now, you know, we're in great seats, usually by third base, behind third base, and we just love it. I look forward to it, rain, sleet, or snow. And this year, we were drenched.
It did rain on opening day. You know what? We had a rain delay. We should have had you come up and.
Honey, I was trying to get my phone number to you. I thought,
know
why
you
doesn't
did.
Len go in the bathroom?
I
It's
know.
on the wall, and they're all over the place.
Well, I made an attempt.
No, you did.
But you're here now.
And you made my mom so happy.
Oh, that's nice.
Because she's the greatest Cubs fan. She's got a brand new sign in her window. She paints a new sign every year for the Cubs. People come by and take pictures by it.
And is there like a new slogan every year?
Oh, yeah.
What's this
well, you know,
year's?
Ernie did that in the 60s, Ernie Banks. So my mom's been doing it ever since. This year, it's move your buns, make some runs. Well, reverse the curse. Then she has better late than never. She got about 25 things written on there. And she does it all with the ruler. It's like beautiful artwork. She's very sweet, and she's the greatest Cubs fan. She's up in the skybox right now, having a great time sitting out there with all my brothers and sisters, and what a thrill for us. An honest to God thrill.
What's going on here? Do they think this game is in hand? Cubs lead by 9. But still a lot of big things can happen.
Whoa.
Some more runs could be scored, but Gomez takes that away from Reed Johnson. We look forward to the Bonnie Hunt Show.
Oh, thanks, Lynn.
Bonnie, thanks so much for stopping by.
Are you kidding?
Let's
You guys
hope
are
this
great.
is the year.
Yeah, for me and the Cubs.
That sounds great. for Cubs. Swing and a miss by Xavier Nady. Michael Wirtz and Darrell Ward are in the ball game. So good to see Bonnie Hunt. She's our favorite.
Well, she's always in a good mood. She's always glad to be at the ballpark. You can tell she loves her Cubs. Great fan.
And I should add, a terrific actress and comedian. And we look forward to her talk show.
And singer, yeah, she can sing.
So Darrell Ward in for Derek Lee, who had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. A huge offensive day for the Cubs once again. Bob Howery gave up a run on 2 hits in his 2 innings. He did miss some bats. That's good to see. 4 strikeouts for Howery. Ryan Dempster would go to 3-0 with a win today. His earned run average through 4 starts is right at 3. The Mets come in tomorrow night. Johan Santana not scheduled in the series. Towering foul pop off the bat of Nady. It'll be on the U, WCIU channel 26. Note the start time 6 o'clock Central. We'll be back on WGN Sports Thursday at 2 from Colorado. The pitch in the dirt. Just hanging out in the bleachers. A beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's going to hold up, and it's DeRosa.
Hey, here is today's player with too much good stuff, brought to you by AM/PM The Riot. Having a big day today. 2 doubles, 2 singles, a walk, scored 3 runs, stole a base. Ryan Theriot, way too much good stuff today. Thank you, AM/PM.
Just 1 hit off his career high of 5, which was set back in 06 against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, you know the ball club is in a good streak offensively when we have to pick our AM/PM player with too much good stuff, and there are several candidates every day. You love that.
Well, you feel bad for leaving a few guys out. Top of the order coming up big, combining for 6 runs. The top 2 guys. Dolman smacks it foul. Time called before a 1-2 pitch. Wirtz came on with the bases loaded in game 2. Got a ground ball out to get out of the inning, and Ryan Dolman bidding for a 2nd home run, and he will get it. Came in with 2 on the year. He has doubled his total, 13-5.
And we talk about Dolman's power back in the 6th inning, flexing his muscles here once again in the 8th. Well, he's a guy that really figures to take advantage of that right field wall at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. There's a natural pull swing and got that ball way up in the air to right field.
Second two-homer game of Ryan Dohman's career. The 2-0 pitch is outside now, 3-0 on Bautista.
Well, Ryan Dohman knew he was going to be a big leaguer a long time ago. I think I told the story last year. I went to a banquet in Moses Lake, Washington, which is not in the middle of nowhere, but it's close to it. And at the time, Ryan Dohman was just a high school ball player, and he came to the banquet. I was introduced to him. Somebody told me this is one of our best young players here in the area. I asked him, young man, you going to make it to the big leagues? And he said, yes, sir. And sure enough, here he is hitting home runs against the Cubs in the big leagues.
Brian Bixler, the shortstop, hit by a pitch in the 5th and scored. Struck out his other 2 times. And Henry Blanco goes out to talk with Wirtz.
Had a nice chat with Michael Wirtz this morning. He was very philosophical about his slow start to the season. He said it's just part of the game. You know, everybody goes through peaks and valleys during the course of the season, and we'd all like to get off to good starts, but unfortunately some years you just aren't quite where you need to be when the season starts. And he said that's been the case with me. He says physically I feel fine, my stuff is good, I've missed my spots a few times, but I will be better.
Right back to the mound. The throw to second, but it goes into center field. Got away from Michael. Bautista safe there.
Michael mishandled the ball initially, maybe rushing a little bit after that, still trying to get the force play at second base. Usually after a drop like that, a pitcher will concede that run at second base and just get the out at first. He had time to get the out with a good throw, but unfortunately air mails it all the way to Reed Johnson out in center field.
Fielder's choice for Bixler and a throwing error on Wirtz. Chris Gomez has been around a long time. This is his 16th major league season. Began with Detroit. He's moved around a lot. This is Merton in left center for out number 2. Sean Marshall has been kind of an unsung hero. He has done a terrific job filling in for Scott Air as the Cubs' situational lefty. If you had said going into spring training that Sean Marshall would be the Cubs' matchup lefty, I don't think a lot of people would have believed you. He's been a starter his whole life.
He says he's making the adjustment too. He's learning to get ready quicker down there in the bullpen. Said it only takes him a few throws now to get to the point where he can really throw in earnest down in that bullpen. I think that's probably the biggest adjustment for any starting pitcher going to the bullpen. You know, as a starter, you warm up at your own pace. It's a very leisurely exercise. Run a little bit, stretch a little bit, play a little catch, play some toss with the catcher, and then slowly get up to game speed. But as a relief pitcher, especially a situational lefty, you do not have that luxury. The phone rings, and you better be ready to go into that ball game shortly thereafter.
You know, Sean has really flown under the radar his entire career. The Cubs were looking for a 5th starter. Wade Miller struggled early on. Mark Pryor last year. wasn't healthy, and Sean Marshall had a 3.92 earned run average. He went 7 and 8, but had a solid ERA. He made 21 appearances, including 19 starts. He really has done a creditable job since he has come up to the big leagues. Made 24 starts in 2006. His stuff's not going to blow you away. I'm sure they're watching the ball game. Yeah, they're saying, hey, I'm on.
A wave or something. Come on.
Hook to Darrell Ward on the ground. He tells Wirtz, I'll take it. And it's the third out. Dolan with his second home run of the day, but it's still all Cubs as they go for the sweep, 13-5. Wrigley Field, the Cubs looking to improve to 5-1 on this homestand. Ryan Theriot trying to tie his career high. He has 4 hits already. Montrez 1-1 at the knees, 1-2. Apparently that's hard work sitting in the bleachers. He's getting a neck massage.
Maybe she's trying to choke him. It looks like a massage.
The White Sox behind John Danks on the mound, and Jim Thome at the plate with a 6-0 whitewashing of the Rays in Tampa Bay. Minnesota just got a run to beat the Indians in the 10th, 2-1. Seattle 4, Angels nothing. Top 6 in LA or in Anaheim of LA or whatever it is.
Southern California.
Yeah. Oakland with 5 in the 4th, leading Kansas City 5-1. Ryan went for strike 3. If he had gotten the call, he would have reached for the 6th time.
Theriot refuses to give away an at bat, that's for sure. Even in a blowout ball game, he's trying to reach base every time he steps into that batter's box. I think he might have had a good argument right there, but late in a blowout game, most of the borderline calls are going to go the way of speeding the game up.
A ball and a strike on Darrell Ward. Big sigh of relief for Darrell Ward after his first hit of the year. A 2-run homer. He hit it well yesterday in the 7th inning. Goes off Evan Meek, a right-hander. Check swing foul.
Darrell Ward, the last Cub to get his first base hit of the season, at least on the opening day roster. It was a line drive into those bleachers in right field. A little bit of a fist pump from D. Ward off the schneid.
The pitching matchups in that Mets series. John Maine against Carlos Zambrano tomorrow night. Nelson Figueroa, who's in their rotation with Pedro Martinez on the DL. Ted Lilly for the Cubs. Ted's still looking for his first win. That'll be Tuesday afternoon. I guess Moises Alou is not too far away from coming back. See, he's on the DL after hernia surgery in March. When you think about the hit totals Moises would have piled up in his career had he not spent all those days, weeks, months, and years on the DL. Ball 4 to Darrell Ward.
You know what time it is, Len?
What time is it?
It's time to check out today's Nissan drive of the game. Aramis Ramirez with his 4th home run of the season. That came back in the 5th inning when the Cubs pushed across 5 runs on 6 hits. Our Nissan drive of the game.
Ground ball is through into left. He went into that at bat a triple shy of the cycle. His 4th hit. We'll check out his updated batting average. He started at 234. 18 hits. Ties his career high, the 4 hits. Hit sharply to short. 6-4-3. Merton grounds into an inning-ending double play. Sean Marshall will try to close out the Pirates when we come back. Great day to be at the ballpark. Fathers and sons, aunts and uncles. The Hunt family well represented. Bonnie and her family. Sean Marshall here in the 9th inning. Nice play. Freddie Sanchez is out 1-3. It's Jason Bay. 2 outs away from a 3rd straight sweep over the Pirates. Cubs swept the Bucks back in September of last year. Did it again last week at PNC Park. And they're very close to their 9th straight win versus the Pirates. First 9-game winning streak, if it happens, since the late 30s. In this long time series, it goes back to 1887. Cubs Forever coming up at 6 o'clock Central Time. 60 years of great Cubs memories. Following that, a big WGN 60th year celebration. And the 2-1 outside, 3 balls and a strike on Bay. Paulino's on deck in the pitcher spot. There's ball 4. Now Paulino will be announced. The producer of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is Pete Toma. Skip Ellison is our director. Our associate producer is Mark Brady. The executive producer of WGN Sports, Bob Vorwald. Ball 1 off the inside corner. Thanks as well to our stage manager in the booth, Paula Oscroba, our studio coordinator back at WGN, Joe Pizzo, and our great WGN Sports crew here at Wrigley Field. Big Cubs special coming up tonight in honor of a lot of people, but especially all those great people behind the scenes throughout the last 60 years, bringing you Cubs baseball here on WGN Sports. Now in high definition, Holman Road. Watching us all over the place. Marty Muse from Robert Earl Keen Band sent me a nice email recently. He's been keeping tabs on the Cubs. I believe Marty lives in Texas now, as Bay will go to 3rd at least. Tony Beasley's going to send him around. He'll score as Paulino with a pinch hit RBI double. 13-6.
Still a very comfortable lead, but Sean Marshall sure would like to wrap this thing up rather quickly. He's been making a lot of borderline pitches, falling behind in the count, and then had to come down Main Street with that one to Paulino.
How about this? With the Cubs up 7, every Cubs pitcher has given up at least 1 run. Ryan Dempster allowed 3. Howery and Wirtz each a run, and now Marshall charged with 1. But not a big deal with the offense scoring 13. If you're going to give up runs, this is the day to do it.
Well, and this is the kind of day that pitchers usually will give up some runs. When you get a big comfortable lead, your job is just to throw the ball over the plate. Because this is the big leagues, occasionally they're going to get to you, but bottom line is you don't want to walk guys, you don't want to create opportunities for that team that's in a hole.
Domit will turn around and bat right-handed. That's good for the Cubs because the last 2 times up lefty, he went yard.
Bowman 4 for 8 on the season from the right side of the plate.
Sean works from the windup with a runner at third. He's not worried at all about Paulino. Harry and Jack. And a message there for Arnie Harris as well. A strike away from a sweep. The kick and the pitch blocked by Henry. The 1-2 pitch hit foul. Wow.
Good luck.
Good luck. Swing and a miss. Cubs win, and the Cubs sweep. Make it 6-0 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Off to a 5-1 start on this homestand. 13-6. The final score today.
Sweep the Pirates in this 3-game series, and it was all about the offense. Cubs feeling very comfortable here at the friendly confines, swinging the bats, taking advantage of a little bit of an undermanned ball club at this time of the year, but that's what good teams are supposed to do.
Well, the Cubs now have improved to 12-6 on the year. And checking the updated scores, the Cardinals lost. So did Milwaukee, and the Cubs are in first place. It's still early. They now have a half-game lead in the National League Central. Third straight win all over the Pirates. They just completed a series win over Cincinnati as well. 2 of 3, so now 5-1 this week. Ryan Theriot is with us on the field. Ryan, can you hear us? It's Len and Bob.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Congratulations. That first inning, I mean, Johnson gets on, you knock him in, and
right.
All of a sudden the merry-go-round starts.
Yeah, you know, you always want to try to group hits together. I think today we did a good job of that, and we were able to score some runs.
We're talking about your first at bat in the ball game, Ryan. I mean, you were a busy man today. A lot happened. I don't know if you can remember that far back, but Reed Johnson led off with the double, and I said at the time, if you try to do the right thing, good things happen, and it was clear you were trying to move that ball to the right side of the field. Fortunately, you found a hole up the middle for a base hit and drove home the run.
Yeah, you just want to stay inside the ball right there and try to get him over to third base. Luckily, we were able to do that.
Ryan, in the starting pitching, now you've had wins the last 3 days from Rich Hill, Jason Marquis, and how about Ryan Dempster, who has exited with a lead every time out, now is 3-0.
He's doing a great job. You know, he's really throwing the ball well. He's keeping us right there in the game and pitching his heart out. So he's doing a great job so far.
You talk about chemistry. I know you and I had a chat once about when things are rolling, it's kind of like high school. Is that how it feels right now?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. You know, everything starts to click. You see guys making a little noise in the dugout, and you know, everybody's doing their job, and you're winning ball games. It makes it a lot easier.
Boy, and we've talked at length, especially over this weekend series against the Pirates, your guys' patience at the plate. You do 7 more base on balls today, and that certainly creates opportunities for the guys hitting behind you in the order.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, one of those main things is trusting your teammates and knowing that the guy behind you can get the job done and is willing to get the job done, and I see him come behind me.
You got out of it.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? I saw him.
That's Rich Hill.
That's why he's a pitcher, not a position player.
Ah, there you go.
That's funny. No, but, you know, I think it's trusting your teammates, you know, and knowing that they can get the job done, and you know, we got that going.
All right, Ryan, we'll let you get into the clubhouse. Nice going today.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Ryan Terrio. Rich Hill tried to get him. Oh, he just able to get out of the way. 13-6, the Cubs beat the Pirates, and they complete the sweep. We'll be back.
They're gonna pitch today.